What's up, dudes and dudettes in the internet? My name's Scyushi, and we are back in some more Trove PTS patch notes. Let's get into it. A new enemy faction has invaded Trove, found only in the most difficult locations and forged under the immense pressure of the depths. Denizens from the depths have risen up and can be found in the new Long Shade, aka Uber 12 difficulty level, as well as in the new Delve Biome, which unfortunately we don't have access to. I don't have access to at the moment, so I won't be able to show you guys that today. Saltwater Sam and his crew can be found exploring the Long Shade and helping combat this new threat. So this is actually going to end up being their ship right here, which we'll talk about momentarily. First and foremost, we have the new difficulty. So the new max difficulty is respectively going to be U12, but for consistency's sake, we're going to be calling it U15 from now on, because they actually ended up renaming all of the Uber difficulties so that it, I don't know, I was going to say more consistent. It's actually a lot less consistent. Basically, U15 is the only available biome, or only available in this biome. And technically is U12 difficulty, wherein U14 or 14 deep, fallow, whatever, this is essentially U11. So they just renamed them and shifted them all around. It's not like we just immediately jumped to U15 and it's like, oh my God, we're so strong. So it mentions that to enter this new difficulty, we're gonna call it U15 from now on. Characters must have 40k PR and 8.5k light, which is kind of a lie. It says 42.5k PR required. I wish that it would say the light value in the description, because I find it stupid that it doesn't. So unlike most Uber worlds, this world only contains a mix of 3 biomes any given time, and it rotates every 3 hours. The currently active biomes can be seen floating around, as you can see, and it also gives a little description. I actually think that that's really cool, but I have another video talking about the difficulty in more detail. Trovians can only carry a limited amount of new resources, so there's going to end up being ores, plants, other harvestable items that can be crafted. But for some stupid reason, this doesn't go into my flex inventory, so I hope that that's a bug, because otherwise, devs, for the love of God, our inventory is becoming way too full of crap lately, and having these items filling up my inventory that I'm gonna need to craft into other stuff is just not my idea of a good time, and especially players that don't have all of the inventory expanders, because like this essentially is just the update that makes it so that if you're free to play, you're screwed. So moving on, 5-star dungeons can be found throughout the Long Shade, which is this, again, just this world that we're in right now. We can essentially get 5-star dungeons in every biome. As you can see, there's one right over here. But the problem is that these dungeons are not thematically any different from one another, depending on the biome. It's always going to be this one singular dungeon, which I like this dungeon. I mean, it's a little bit gray. Could have had a little more color, but I do wish that there was thematic differences between the biomes. Even a simple color swap can go a long way, devs, like, for the love of God. So there's also going to end up being the new Delve Biome. Now, at the moment that I'm recording this, I don't have footage of this. So hopefully by the time I end up posting this video to you guys, I'll have gotten some footage of the Delve Biome, in which case I'll insert some footage of it. So for characters of sufficient strength and swimming skill, the depths await a flooded Delve Biome, providing additional challenges and rewards. The depths is only accessible via matchmakers, the creation of which Saltwater Sam and his crew have been studying. You can find them at outposts in all of the biomes in Long Shade, U15. Basically, that ship that we were at 2 seconds ago, we would use the crafting bench to craft one of the portals that would essentially end up giving us access to the new Delve Biome that nobody asked for. There is also a cash shop alternative, but we'll get into that. So unlike standard matchmakers, every floor/tier with the depths will have new bosses appearing every 3rd floor. And instead of a Shadowy Soul Vault, every 3rd floor will spawn a Runic Depth Vault, which can be opened with the new keys crafted at Saltwater Sam. Basically, it's the same stupid delves that we've seen time and time again, but now it's got a new chest, and thus it has a new stupid key. How do you get this key? You gotta get runic key fragments. How do you get these? In the highest difficulty worlds. Yeah, you just find it all over the place from dungeons and stuff. So we essentially have to grind the overworld so that we can go into the stupid depths. I do like the idea that it's all sunken and underwater and stuff, but that might end up being really annoying with how knockback works in this game. So anyways, moving on. The Depths Matchmaker will only take you up to 12 floors deep, allowing 4 bosses and vaults total. A limited amount, which... I mean, I don't know how deep the difficulty is going to end up going, but I assume that it's going to end up being almost impossible for us to end up getting that, like getting super duper deep into those delves without the new tier of gear, which we'll get into. But that kind of is a little bit confusing to me because you need to go into those delves to get the new gear so that you can handle those new delves. So that cash shop equivalent, I wanted to show you guys, this is all temporary pricing. I hope to God it's temporary because otherwise, my God, this would be way too expensive considering that these do absolutely nothing right now. So yeah, I'm just gonna say that this is all placeholder. Now, let's move into the club world, in which case we're going to focus on the new Runecrafting Profession upgrade. I don't know why they're back on the Runecrafting kick. I guess they just didn't want to end up making a new profession. Kind of stupid when you think about it. But now Runecrafting can go up to tier 400. Why, I don't know. The Runecrafting profession has 2 new tiers, allowing players to reach a new maximum skill of 400. Actually, that's 3 tiers because it's 300, 350, and 400, but sure, whatever. Runes, a new equipable auto-consume item, can be crafted using Runecrafting. So that's going to end up being, is it these or is it these? Yeah, these. So this is used to craft items in the Runecrafting profession. So we have to craft a bunch of these in order to end up crafting a bunch of these. And these are, well, we'll get into it. Similar to shouts and stances from martial arts, runes go into the auto-use slot and are consumed when performing specific actions. In addition to providing temporary buffs, consuming runes can create rune fragments used to craft more powerful runes. Here we go again. Many existing Runecrafting recipes have had their material costs adjusted for whatever reason. I guess just to make more sense and be a easier, an easier graph of maxing it out. Collections from Runecrafting Bench are now unlocked directly rather than via crafting them. Okay, so I guess just by getting to a certain tier, it automatically unlocks a bunch of the different mounts and junk or something. I don't know. But anyways, the reason it's important is because this is basically, as you can see, produces 10 chocolate algae when fully charged. Standard leaflets can be charged without cooldown, but are consumed when fully charged. Charges in dungeons, geode caves, and delves. So rather than give us a bunch of new tomes, they actually just made a profession exclusive, limited, one-time use tome. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel kind of ripped off because they're basically taking a mechanic that already exists in the game and stripping it down to its basic function and trying to act like this is a valuable item. If it gave a lot more resources, okay, cool, but it's kind of weird because look at this. It produces 10 chocolate algae when fully charged. Bro, it costs 15 chocolate algae to craft the stupid thing. This better be placeholder because otherwise, what the hell? Like, unless this is an item that doesn't get consumed, maybe it's just an infinite, basically a tome that's an infinite, like, an infinite item that we can just keep getting over and over and over again. But again, I don't know how I feel about that because it's a bit strange. Maybe, like, I guess we could rock it at the same time that we could have a tome. So that's kind of cool, but it just, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about all that. So that we're not here rambling all day, I'm going to move on to the new gear tier. So whispers abound of a new gear tier called Mystic Gear. Gear crafters have not yet figured out how to craft Mystic Gear. So basically it seems like it's only a matter of time before we'll be able to craft Mystic Gear at the crafting table or the crafting profession, which... who cares? Nobody bothers crafting gear because it's just so ridiculously expensive to craft Crystal 4 and Crystal 5. Unless they make it a guarantee to craft the Mystic Gear rather than RNG, I don't see anybody using it. But more importantly, we can craft our Crystal 5 gear into Mystic Gear. At the moment, I don't know whether or not we can craft up to higher levels of Mystic Gear. But they do mention that you will upgrade Crystal 5 into Mystic 1, which means that if it's not already in the game, it's only a matter of time before we end up eventually going to Mystic 5. So I don't know. We'll see how that works. But anyways, the next topic is just the difficulty names. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about this because I already mentioned it, but basically they just renamed all the Uber difficulties. U14 was U11, U15 was U12. That's it. They just all have their own weird, stupid names now that is like edgy, like Fallow, Twilight Dusk, Nightfall, Moonless Dark, Pure Midnight, Uber Twilight, Mega Dark, Deep, Fallow. Like, it just... All right. I don't know why move away from Uber difficulty. It's been in the game for like decades. It's not going to be something that we're going to simply move away from because they just decided to rename them. And U15 is still easier than just saying difficulty 15, at least in my books. So we'll just call it U15 from now on. As far as an update is concerned, I like a lot of the ideas. The idea of having an infinitely replayable like end game area that is just all of the biomes that cycles out randomly, I think that's actually really cool. That's, you know, something that I really enjoyed from Diablo 3's end game as well. But the problem therein lies that it's just a remix of existing content and technically didn't add anything new. Like thematically, it added all of these new enemies and the new 5-star dungeon, the singular new 5-star dungeon to every single biome. That's cool. But what I would like to see to remix it up is there should be exclusive dungeon layouts that only show up in each of the different worlds. Or if they would have actually, you know, bothered to code the biome generation to have like maybe some weirder textures or something, or maybe some weirder builds. Like maybe you could go into like a desert biome, but it would start generating like, I don't know, geosurface dungeons or something stupid. Like, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, they needed to add a little bit more to it to make it more interesting. I do like it. I just feel like its execution is kind of lacking. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for me. Smash like, sub for more, buy the merch you want to support the channel. And if you want to see more videos of mine, you can check out this one right here, YouTube recommends, or check out my most recent upload. What do you guys think about all of this stuff? Sound off in the comments. Again, I don't have necessarily any negative things to say about the update, but I also don't necessarily have much positive to say either. It's kind of a moot, like, you know, I'll take it kind of thing.